When Tom's doing his demonstrations and everything, can you please think of the questions and wait till he's sort of finished his sections, so we're not kind of interrupting him. I've also got some cards here for questions that you can ask him. And what we're going to do for about 20 minutes at the end of the day, we'll do a Q&A session. It stops people asking questions, and then we go off on a tangent. Everything will be covered. You'll have plenty of opportunity to speak with Tom in the breaks and in the lunch times. However, I would ask you to respect that Tom is a very energetic trainer, so he needs to conserve his energy in the breaks. So if at all possible, unless it's something you really desperately have to speak to him at that time, can you just give him some space, and also at lunchtime? The Q&A sessions are really the time when you can ask questions, because more than likely the questions you want to ask are going to be relevant to everybody. So I think it's really relevant. I'll leave these at the back, and you, any problems with the venue, you can either ask me, or there's Isabella who's over there. She's helping me on behalf of Manpower Alliance. All I need to do really is kind of introduce you to Tom Silver. I'm not going to say too much about him. You can find out how good he is right now. Okay, and I'll hand you over to Tom Silver.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Well, it's a pleasure to see everyone here. I'm Tom Silver. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm from America. Some of you folks have been to some of my other courses last year in Bath. And I'm here to present a lot of techniques, a lot of ideas, a lot of new technologies to you regarding hypnotherapy and hypnotism. I actually started off back in 1985 studying clinical hypnotherapy in Southern California at an institute, and it was about a year-long training and about 2 years of residency and internship. And in that course, I learned a lot of techniques. But the techniques that I learned in reality were still kind of in the elementary stages of hypnosis and hypnotherapy. And after I had graduated, for about 20 years, I've been exploring different ways of inducing hypnosis, different methods of hypnosis, translingual hypnotism. I've done a lot of TV shows showing fear and phobia removals and regression therapy. And this is great because now we've got 4 days to go through so many different types of ideas and techniques that I want to present to you. These are things that I've developed over a number of years, some methods. There are also methods that I've learned from other hypnotherapists. And I'm not saying everything that I'm going to teach you today is something that you have to use. I just want you to be open to possibly utilize some of the techniques and maybe see if they work for you. I'm a big believer in the more methods that you have or hypnotic tools that you have in your tool chest, the more you're going to be able to induce deeper stages of hypnosis. Now, some of you who have gone to my courses in the past, are you using some of the methods and inductions and techniques? Okay. Have they proven successful for you? Yes. Okay. Excellent. Great. Well, what we're going to do this for over a 4-day period, we're going to be showing you quite a bit of information. We're going to be doing live demonstrations. We're all going to be practicing these techniques. I'm a big believer. I can sit here for 4 days and preach to you and show you videos and tell you how I do things, but unless you can turn those thoughts into action, you're not going to feel confident enough to start to use them. So we're going to be doing a lot of practice over 4 days. Like I mentioned to you, I've been doing hypnotherapy for about 20 years. I've done a lot of TV shows. I actually have had my own special, CBS special in America. In 1994, I was asked to go to Taiwan to introduce a Taiwan culture to hypnotism, a 5,000-year-old culture. They really knew nothing about hypnotherapy. So I created a method called translingual hypnosis, or interlingual hypnotic trance induction, which I'm going to also show you and teach you how to hypnotize people through interpreters in foreign languages. So I spent between 1994 and 1999 going back to Taiwan probably 3 or 4 times a year. In 1997, I was asked by the Taiwan Department of Defense to help them in a case. So it was a very big weapons procurement scandal with France, $2.4 billion scandal on murder of a colonel of the Taiwan Navy. And the Defense Department had tried so many different ways of trying to gather information to solve this case. And they kind of reached a roadblock They really didn't know who was telling the truth, who was lying, who was creating stories, or if someone's point of view wasn't really accurate on the situation. So they asked me if I would be interested in working with them, hypnotizing people, which involved witnesses, what we might call people that were just working in the Defense Department that might be associated with the crime, as well as military imprisoned officers, to regress them back to the event to get accurate information, actually true memory. And so I worked with them in January of 1997, and very successful. I only had to hypnotize 2 people, but they were imprisoned military officers. So I'm actually there to hypnotize someone coming in that does not want to get hypnotized. Now, you know, most of the time when you do hypnotherapy, people are coming in because they want to change their life. But believe it or not, almost everyone that comes in to see you has a certain fear of change. And so that little fear of change or being used to that negative habit is sometimes more comforting than the new change, which is really the best thing for them. So I was very successful in January. They asked me to come back in July to work with them again, which of course I did, because I wanted to be able to have a country recognize hypnosis, a power of mind technology, subconscious technology. Our mind's a computer. If you can activate the thoughts, the emotions or habits in that computer, you can change a person's life. So I went back in July and worked with them again. Now, one of the people that came in to see me was a statistic general. And he spoke English, so I didn't have to hypnotize him in Mandarin Chinese. But the first thing he said when he came in to see me is, I've seen hypnotism on TV, saw a Paul McKenna stage show that was airing in Taiwan. And he says, I saw people dancing and singing, and he goes, it's all an act. I know they're all just pretending. And he goes, you've got 15 minutes to try to hypnotize me. He goes, but you're not going to be able to. In other words, he was blocking 100%. And so I decided to take out one of my little hypnotic tools, which was a shock induction, or what we call an unexpected physical induction. It actually shocks the nervous system to put a person into deep hypnosis who might be resistant. When you're dealing with someone with a fear and phobic anxiety, or someone that's experienced a traumatic event, you can spend an hour telling them to relax, but if they've experienced trauma, their mind is going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and they're not going to relax. So you're going to have to find another way to get them into that peaceful state of hypnosis. So this guy says, you got 15 minutes to try to hypnotize me. I did an induction technique that I'm going to show you in our course. And about 7 hours later, he woke up. 7 hours later, out of hypnosis. Now, in the past, if you were to ask me, because I was trained, well, you can't hypnotize people against their resistance or will. Again, most people that come in to see you for hypnotherapy have a certain guard up, even though part of them is there to be hypnotized. I was talking to someone that was going to work with someone to stop smoking, and the person ran out of the office before they could hypnotize them. Who was that?
It was fear of flying.
Oh, it was a fear of flying. But before they even sat down in the chair, they left. Yeah. So the thing is, we need to break through conscious resistance. And if you know different techniques, different methods, you're able to do that. So anyway, the gentleman woke up 7 hours later, and I regressed him back to an event to get accurate memory. We're going to talk about false memory, real memory, embellished memory, select memory, because we're going to also talk about forensic hypnosis. I know some of you are a little interested in that. I've developed some great techniques that are 61% successful in everyone that comes in to see me. So in July, I hypnotized a number of people that were involved in the case in one way or another. And in July, I was awarded the Gold Plate of Honor from the Taiwan Minister of Defense for my work in hypnotism. 5,000-year-old culture, recognizing that there's something to this science of mind technology. And that's what it is. It's mind technology, mind science. And we're going to teach you scientific hypnotism, too, which is really important. I believe we need to elevate ourselves to being as equal, as accepted as a psychiatrist, as a medical doctor, because let's face it, most medical doctors are giving out prescription medicine. What do we give out? Mental medicine.